Hey you, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I wanted to talk about my experience in university. I went to Wits University. I also wanted to talk about why I did not study psychology and do my honors in psychology, even though I went into Wits wanting to do psychology and be a psychologist. So I'm going to be talking about exactly that, my experience at Wits University, what I studied, why I did not study psychology, and then towards the end, I'm going to share a little bit about what you need to know if you want to be a psychologist in South Africa and the processes that you'd have to go through in order for you to qualify as a registered psychologist and then practice, right? Be a licensed psychologist and practice. So if that's something that you are interested in, please stay tuned and let's get into the video. I went to Wits University and it's the only institution I applied to. I was like, I'm going to Wits, I'm going to be a psychologist, I'm going to sign up for psychology, I'm going to register for psychology, and that is what I'm going to be doing, right? And I remember I was so strict about it that the day I had to register, I sat down with this lady and she was like, so what do you want to do? I was like, I want to be a psychologist. I want to do psychology. And she was like, oh, you have to pick like 3 other courses. And I was like, oh, okay. Then you pick for me, but just make sure that psychology is in there, And then she was like, okay, cool. But then she explained to me all the other courses she explained all the other courses that would relate to psychology, and then I had to pick because I don't think she was supposed to pick for me, but then I was just like, dude, as long as psychology is there, I'm down, So I ended up picking psychology, sociology, history, and politics. Now, how I ended up doing my honors in demography was very, very weird, right? I went into Wits wanting to do psychology and be a psychologist, but then I fell in love with this whole research thing, like research, but then a different kind of research, right? Like social research. And we're talking about unemployment, and we're talking about fertility, we're talking about death and how many people die in the country, what are they dying from? We're talking about migration, we're talking about all of these nice social issue concepts and things that you generally need to know, and I was like, to God, bet, okay, because I talk to God like that. I'm like that. I'm that kind of believer. I'm just like, I have this option and then I have this option, so whichever one happens, then I'm gonna go with that, if this happens, then I know that you want me to go there, but then if this happens, then I know you want me to do that, So I was like, God, look, I love psychology, I love helping people, I love this thing, but then at the same time I just met this thing again, like it's like what I've always wanted to do kind of thing, but then I just did not have a name for it. Now I'm like, to God, listen, whichever one you want me to go for, right, I need to get the highest percentage in it. And I was just like, if I get the highest percentage and I get a distinction in it, then I know that it's you, and you want me to do that. Then I went in, I wrote my exams, I prepared like fair, right? Because again, psychology is something that I love doing, and I got my majority of my distinctions came from psychology. So it's not that I'm generally failing psychology. So no. It was a fair test. It was fair, and I presented it to God. And then at the end of the year, when I got my results, demography, I got a distinction for demography, and it was a high. Well, I actually got a distinction for both, but I got a 80% for psychology, and then I got a 82% for demography. And I was like, okay, so it's demography, we're doing this. But then I've always known in my heart that I'm gonna do demography. Now, that is how I ended up doing my honors in demography. So if you're thinking of being a psychologist in South Africa, there's a few things that you need to know, and I hope this video can be helpful because this is information that I also did not know, right? There are a lot of people who think that in order for you to be a psychologist in South Africa, you probably need to go to school for like 3 years and just get your undergrad, and then you're like a psychologist. But there's a lot that you need to do in order for you to be a psychologist. So number one, you need to know what kind of psychologist you want to be. because they're different types of psychologists. You want to be a clinical psychologist, you want to be a developmental psychologist, you want to be a cognitive psychologist, you want to do neuropsychology, you want to do social psychology, health psychology, research psychology, counseling psychology, evolutionary psychology. There's a lot, there's a lot, right? You need to know what kind of psychologist you want to be. And then other forms of psychology, like the other streams of psychology, I think they're not available in South Africa, but a lot of people go into organizational industrial psychologists. You can also do that, but a lot of people go into like clinical psychology, and then others go into like organizational psychology, but there's just a lot. And then after you've decided, obviously you're going to apply to the institution that you want to go to, depending on the admission requirements. And if you qualify, then you choose, like you sort of choose. For me, the institution that I went to, Wits, you have a BA psychology, right? And even with your BA psychology, you have to pick like other three, like other electives that you want to do in your undergrad. And then you can only, in your honors, then do like your honors in psychology. Now, number one, you need your undergraduate degree in psychology. For us, it's a Bachelor of Arts degree, general, or a Bachelor of Arts degree, and then you choose psychology, right? Then the other three. Number two, that's 3 years, like your undergrad degree at Wits University. And I think other institutions too, it's like 3 years. And then you have to do your honors in psychology. You need to get your honors in psychology, right? And that is a year. If you're going to do it full time, it's a year. And then afterwards, you need to do your master's in psychology. In order for you to be a psychologist in South Africa, you need a master's, right? And then after you do your master's, then you go through an internship. And I think that your master's is also a year, and then your internship is also a year. And then after you go through your internship, that's like 3 years plus another year 4 plus another year 5 plus another year 6 years, right? And then even after that, you have to go write your board exams. And if you pass your board exams, then you can be registered with the, what do they call it? The HPCSA, Health Professional Council of South Africa. I'll research that, but then it's the HPCSA. And then after you registered and you are licensed, then you can practice as a psychologist. If at any point you drop out or you fail or you don't do the other steps, then you're not a psychologist. Like, you can call yourself an advisor, or you can call yourself a counselor, or you can call yourself I don't know, like any other thing but psychology. Like, even if you get your master's and then you fail your board exams, like, you're not a psychologist. You sort of have to pass and get on the board, and then you can now say that you are a psychologist. Out of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who applied to do, or who at least had psychology as a course in third year, only 70, I think it's 70, I don't know, 70, 80 were chosen. And I was one of them. But then unfortunately, I did not accept the offer because I wanted to do demography. Now, like I said, psychology in South Africa is very competitive, guys. Like, don't ever go there if you're not willing to go through this whole process, because it's just going to be a waste of time. Another major reason why I decided not to do my honors in demography, and why I ended up taking it to God and I was like, dude, help me choose, is because of how competitive it is. I knew that, yes, I did make it into the honors group, right? But even in your master's group, I think they cut from like that 70 to like 18, right? And I'm just like, yes, I made it, but then what guarantee do I have that I'm gonna make it into like the master's group too? Because if they don't choose you, you're stuck with the honors degree in psychology. You can't be a psychologist. You have to do another thing. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go for demography. I'm thinking of going for demography because I can still get a job even with the honors degree. in demography, right? Yes, it's going to be hard, but it's not, the process is not that strict. Like, okay, I need to get an honors, and then I need to get a master's, and then I need to do an internship, and then I need to write a board exam, then I can say I'm a demographer or a data analyst, right? It's not that, like, the process is not that strict. So if you guys are thinking of doing psychology, I will say go for it. Really, if it's something that you really love, you have a passion for it, you are very competitive, you're hardworking, you smart, right? You can actually get them distinctions and prove through your marks that you can actually do this, then do it. And just make sure that you have information. Just make sure that you have all the information that you need before you go out there and then you're stuck with the honors in psychology and you can't do anything with it. Like, you can get another job, yes, but then you're not a psychologist. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm gonna link another video here in case you haven't seen it. And thank you guys so much for watching. And comment down below if you studied psychology, because I know a lot of people studied psychology, right? And the things that I got wrong in the video, I think, but just comment down below and correct me if there's anything that you know. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.